say it from the all the way. Go.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realize you've been married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
You messed up still. A little bit.
You know, you're always picking on me
Oh my god.
when it comes
Here we
to
go.
the beginning of the podcast.
Sorry, baby.
So we want to welcome everybody to episode 83 of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
And I promise you, I almost said, I am Lovey. He was right there. I am Snooks.
Yes, you are. And we're having fun. This is...
Do you realize you say that all the time whenever there's like a little, we mess up a little something? Yeah, we're having fun.
well, because we are.
We're having fun.
Welcome to year 7 of the quarantine chronicles of the COVID.
Of the COVID.
Of the COVID.
Yeah.
No,
That's
actually,
funny.
it's just, it may feel like that to some. I woke up this morning like, what day is it?
Yeah.
What
for
time is
you-
it?
Well, for you people who,
That's non-essentials?
well, you're essentially at home. I'm essential in the office.
Okay, we've been through all that. We're not going to
I
rehash
know.
that all
I'm
over
just,
again.
my point is that I know the days. I
But-
think I started crying at 9 o'clock last night.
Oh, I understand. I understand. No,
That's so
it's
funny.
crazy. There's so much that's going on. I mean, there's so many blessings in this time period because, like, for instance, I think I was telling you, well, you knew this, but probably about a good 3 months, 4 months ago, I started telling you that I smell oil on my car, like the burning oil smell in my car. And so I kept saying, oh, you know, there's a smell, and I need to get that checked out. And I kept saying it, and I kept saying it, and I kept saying it. And then it just got to the point where it was like, this is ridiculous. I finally have to take it in because that smell is not going away. And it was so consistent that, I don't know, I just felt compelled that, oh, I need to do it. And then I forgot again. I kept saying I was going to do it. And then right before all this stuff hit, the dummy panel came on. You know, the dummy light with the little oil canister thing on the dummy
The
panel?
self-check stuff?
Yeah, it was it was an engine check light. Don't you don't call that a dummy panel?
Nothing in my car is a dummy, so no.
Of course not in your car. But in my car, well, maybe for my maintenance days or whatever, but we used to call them the dummy panel because things will light up and tell you what's going on. Like the oil is low or your engine check light or there's just a variety of things when something lights up. I'm surprised nobody else calls that. Well, maybe they do.
Come on. Between you and I, no one else does. But
Well, anyway, so my dummy light came on for the engine and I was like, oh, felt like Homer Simpson. And I was like, I need to actually get this thing checked out. So I took it up to the dealership and to Subaru Legacy. And I take it up to Subaru and the guy's like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know, I got this engine check light. And he laughed because it's the same guy that I had seen before when I've taken it in for some maintenance. And he was like, did you check your gas cap? Because I don't know if you know this or not. With a lot of the cars, go ahead.
I know
What?
that if you don't lock your gas cap all the way, your check engine light comes on.
Yeah.
How do I know that? Because that happened to me. I was like, oh my God, my car. And I took it in, and he's like, your gas cap was loose. It's like, oh, okay, thank you.
Uh,
So now
that's
I make
crazy.
sure that I, do the, it says you only have to turn it once for just one click, but I'm like, click,
Oh,
to make sure. So yeah.
the triple
I know
check.
Yeah.
So he laughed at me, right? He laughed at me because he's like, are you sure of the gas cap? Because one time before I did take it in, and I was like, yeah, the engine light's on, and he's like, let me just check something real quick. He walks around the side, pops it, and tightens it. He's like, I think your gas cap was off. And I was like, what's that got to do with my engine? And then he's like, it's an ear sensor, it's a air sensor and all this other stuff. And he went through it. So anyway, again, that was the first thing he said. Are you sure it's not your gas cap? And I'm positive it's not the gas cap this time. But then I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind, good Lord, I hope it's not the gas cap again. So anyway, he goes around,
Hold on,
checks that.
I just have to say this. So for those of you guys who don't know, Lovey is very highfalutin. You know
What
that
you mean?
Your gas cap.
What?
Usually guys know this stuff. You're like, oh, my gas cap. I don't know.
Oh. I don't know why you find that so funny.
It's
Anyway,
so funny to me.
you only know because somebody pointed it out to you.
I'm a girl, babe.
Now I got nothing to do. Okay, for all you women out there that were just offended by her saying, I'm a girl.
I'm saying.
There are women mechanics out there that put it down.
And they probably are laughing at you too.
Probably. So anyway.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
He was like, well, let me take it in and take a quick look. And so they put it up on stilts. And the guy gets back to me. They give me like a little rental. So I didn't get a rental for the day.
Rental.
And he comes back and says, well, I got some good news and bad news. And I was like, okay, well, shoot it. And he goes, well, good news is we figured out what the problem was. And I was like, okay, cool. What is it? He's like, well, that's part of the good news, bad news. He said, it's a gasket, but it's a series. We think it's a series of gaskets that the problem's gone on for a while. And normally it would just be like a 1 or 2 day fix. I was like, okay, cool. And he's like, but with all the stuff going on, our shipments have been delayed because of the coronavirus. Mind you, this was like 3 weeks ago.
I was like, this is at the very beginning of it hitting.
Right. This is before any type of shelter in place, any of that stuff was going on.
I think there was a storm during that time too, so there was parts delayed because of
the weather and all that. But he was like, there was a lot major. So he says, so our 2 to 3 days may take up 2 to 3 weeks. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. He's like, no, it's like 2 to 3 weeks. So I was like, okay, fine. So I was hoping like, well, maybe, that was a rough estimate. Maybe it's going to take like a week. It took 2.5 weeks. I just got the car back last week.
And funny thing, because Lovey's been driving, he was driving a rental. And when he's like, oh, I'm getting my car back. So when I pulled into the garage and the car was there, I was like, you got another car? I forgot what the car looked like. It was a trip.
And so, and I tell you all this because it should have only been like a 1 to 2 day fix, but because I kept waiting for so long, I smelled the oil. I knew there was an issue, but I was like, I'll deal with it later. And I just kept saying, I'm going to push it off. I'm going to push it off. I'm going to push it off. And then even when the dummy light came on, I was like, oh, I got to take care of it. I still let it ride for like several days before I finally was like, okay, look, I need to call. But even then, when I finally called, lo and behold, because I waited for so long, a quick fix became a 2 to 3 week fix. It was exponentially longer than what it should have been.
Well, I don't know if we should say a quick fix. It's more about your, don't take this the wrong way, but your neglect of your maintenance.
True.
Because there are instructions that tell you when to, when your oil change, you have a designated time for that. You have a designated time for your tires being rotated. And the dummy light, or the gas, you have a designated time for, to put the gas in typically. So the dummy light is for those people who don't know that, there's something going on, which is what 95% of America or the world, whomever. If you don't realize that, something smells funny, sometimes oil just burns in the car, so you don't typically think, it's whatever, running a little hot, and then it keeps going and it keeps going. It's like, okay, ding dong, something's wrong, So like you say, just using your words, hello, dummy,
Pretty much.
There's something going on, so you need to pay attention. And by the time you paid attention, what could have been maybe a 1 day ended up, like you say, it was 3 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks, yeah. 2.5, almost 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think there's a lot of validity in that when you think about relationships. So if you hear any banging going on in the background, our daughter, our 20-year-old, because she cannot, because we're social distancing and all that, she can't hang out with her boyfriend. So they've been doing a lot of FaceTiming. And so they came up with this brilliant idea that they're going to work out together. He's at his home gym, in his house. And so she's upstairs in our gym. And so she's working out. And it sounds like she's throwing the dumbbells all over the place.
Exactly. That's almost what she did when we first put the shelter in place. What do you mean I can't see him?
Oh, right. But now, so that's their solution. So they are working out together.
I think that's cool.
Separately, but together It is. It's kind of cute.
Yeah, it is cute.
She was just up there doing. We have a jump box and all that stuff up there too, and so she was doing step ups with weights and all that. And I walk in there and I hear this voice, and I was like, what is that? What's going on?
Yeah, who do you have?
And he starts laughing. I was like, I'm proud of you two for working out. He was like, thank you. And I was like, okay, cool.
That's so cool.
I was like, that's cute. I can't get Snooks to work out with me to save my life.
If you can see on YouTube,
but you will not work out with me at the same time.
I have my I Lost It shirt on because I did lose some. I've lost some pounds.
Oh, you have?
And while we're doing our shelter in place, just to keep my maintenance up, I decided that I'm going to start working out also. A lot of that has to do with Snapper Red.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now.
I saw her on Facebook.
Yeah.
She was doing her to the right. And she was doing her kick, down, walk. I was like, okay, I see you. I almost feel like she just challenged me.
So Snapper Red, for those of you that don't know, they're pretty big on YouTube. So Snapper Red and SIBO, that's Country Boy and Snapper Red. They have a channel on YouTube called SIBO and Snappa, and they do a lot of reaction videos, and some of them are like crazy popular. Actually, a lot of them are crazy popular. I just ended up watching one of the more recent ones with Seinfeld reruns, and they're giving their reactions. I didn't watch a lot of Seinfeld, but
I never watched it.
Watching their reactions to this, it was pretty hilarious. So if you get an opportunity, go to YouTube and check out SIBO and Snapper Red. And Snappa has several different channels as well. She's got like a fitness one. There's an amazing one that she does with youth, that she uses music to really help kids. Anyway, go there and check them out. There's a lot going on there. But Snappa put a challenge out to you, or you felt like she did.
I felt like, I was like, oh, I see you, Joy. You all cute. I'm finna be cute too. So
That's funny. That's good though. You know what? That's accountability. That's one of those things where
she
you
didn't even know.
She didn't even know. But you know what? She's having an impact on you though.
Yeah, because I couldn't do what she was doing. I felt some kind of way.
Oh, that's funny. Well, getting back to the analogy though.
So sorry.
But get back to our analogy. We were talking about the car. You said talking about neglect. It is one of those things where up front, if I would have paid attention and did what I was supposed to do in the very beginning, it wouldn't have taken 2 to 3 weeks. And in our relationship, I think you're about to say that I'm neglectful or something.
Well, no. But I mean, it is the same thing in a relationship where you can see that there are things that are going on, and there are things that we neglect or we don't want to deal with. Okay, so case in point, with myself, I've been having notices from the Lexus dealership about my recall for the airbag.
Right.
And between working and school and volleyball, we've just been so impacted. So I never really had time to set an appointment. Well, first of all, it's kind of far away too, but secondly, it's just going. And so when I did call, and I was like, okay, so let's make this appointment. And I made the appointment, but there was a conflict I found out later. So I had to cancel that appointment. So, but now with everything kind of being standstill with the stay at home and only do the essential stuff, I'm like, okay, this is essential because this could potentially, if someone's in the car and anything happens.
I know that was loud. I'm sorry. If
anything happens, that's going to be, I'm going to feel bad about it. Like, what if it explodes or whatever? Kiana's up there. So I took the car in, and I thought it was going to be a quick thing, but it wasn't. It was same day, 4 hours or so. But my point is that now that I have the time to do it and get it taken care of.
Okay.
A lot of times, like right now, there are a lot of people that are doing shelter in place, or maybe one spouse is working, or your significant other is working, or you're both at home, and there have been issues or things that have been mounting that you've been neglecting because you're like, oh, I just don't feel like dealing with it. Oh my gosh, because there's always something. We put those things on the back burner. So now we have time. You have some of us have nothing but time. So now's the time to do that maintenance and start taking a look at what's wrong, if there is something wrong with the relationship. How do we fix it? How can we get it back to running smoothly, or not just running smoothly, running the way that, like, brand new again, if you will.
Okay.
So, as you were saying, that one thing that if you had you taking care of it early with the whatever it was, it may have been only maybe a couple hours or you had to wait. But because you neglected and the dummy light had to come on, that means that there was some real stuff that they had to do to get in there and do some work on it. So it's 2.5 weeks later. Same thing in our relationships. We sometimes, I feel like, when we have it, okay, so let's just address this. And then when things don't pan out or they're not fixed immediately, we throw our hands up a lot of times. See, I just waste time. Why did I even, but no, it took some time for it to get that way.
Right.
It's not going to reverse. Like losing weight. I didn't get this big in a week,
You're not big at all. Don't even say that.
I'm just saying, because I want to lose weight. But I'm saying...
Your shirt says I lost it. Well, I'm saying
I didn't lose it.
I found it.
You put it back on me?
I put it back on me. Everybody else is losing weight right now. Mine's going up. It's like we're like a teeter-totter. But keep going.
Anyway, but I'm saying that it takes time, and you have to know that, or you have to feel like it's worth it, to keep investing. The mechanic, he finds the issue. Oh, I know what the issue is, but I don't know how to get to it. I don't know how to just figure it out. I don't know how to just, so I have to take everything apart to get in there and then reassemble. And that's what
that sounds like
happen.
That sounds like right now hopefully there's a lot of disassembling, reassembling taking place when it comes to relationships, because
for the things that
Well, it's kind of like what we talked about last week, where we talked about don't blame it on the Rona, where all these things are going on, coronavirus, and the police were concerned that there was going to be an uptick when it came to domestic disturbances. And people are like, "Oh, blame it on the Rona." And I've seen all kinds of memes and whatever about, but like we said last week, it's not about the Rona. I mean, whatever's there, some underlying issues, they've been there. So now it's that you have, like you said, we have that time to sit there and discuss things. Now it's coming out. Well, I think what you're talking about now, the analogy with using car maintenance, I think you're absolutely right that you saw little things like me. There were like little things that popped up from time to time, and I neglected it. I didn't address it at that moment. That smelled the oil for months on end, and just figured, it's no big deal. It's probably just a little bit of extra spill somewhere, and I keep going. And it wasn't until the dummy light came on, and we got to make sure that we try and get things handled before the dummy light comes on.
Well, yeah, that's where the maintenance comes in, because everything requires maintenance if you think about it.
Oh, she's serious now because she got her glasses on.
Whatever, because I was going to read something. But just before I do, just think about it. Everything requires maintenance. You have a warranty for the big appliances. You have a warranty for the car, because there are going to be things, or dishwasher, washer and dryer. I'm glad we went on Pyramid 2500, whatever it's called. Anyway, you have a warranty for all of those things.
Talking to the mic.
I'm sorry, I'm
right
looking
here.
at you.
I can hear you.
You're right here. You're with me. You have a warranty for all of those things, because there are going to be things that need to be replaced. There are going to be things that need to be tightened up. There's going to be ice makers that need to be fixed. There are going to be parts that have to be ordered. So it requires you to. That's why they sell you the warranty stuff, because of the maintenance. It's going to be, and it's so funny. I'm sorry. It's so funny. Oh, I keep looking at. It's so funny too. Just thinking about it. When we bought the car, we were thinking about not so much the car, but how much it was going to cost to maintain it. What the cost was, how much we might be inconvenienced, blah blah blah, or whatever. So you have to think about that kind of stuff. What is it going to cost to maintain it? Because that takes work. That takes.
It's
time.
funny. It's funny you say that, because when I was over in England, when I was stationed overseas, there was from the military, we had an opportunity to get the local dealerships over in England were willing to give us major discounts because we're American, and they wanted American dollars versus the pounds during that time period. And I'll never forget it. One of the old heads, because I was going to buy a BMW at one of the dealerships, and it was going to be factory made, and it was going to get shipped back to the United States for me. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of going back and forth between a Saab and a BMW. I was going to get like I think I was going to get an M3. Anyway, you don't know about cars like that, but I was going to get an M3, and it was funny. This old head was like, let me talk to you, young dude, and he was like, so how much is it? I was like, I can afford the car. I can get the car. And he was like, it's not about the car. Can you afford to maintain it? He said, it's the maintenance that's going to get you. He's like, you need to look at that. And of course, I was 22. I was like, no, I was 21. I was 21 or 22. I was like, what are you talking about, man? I go, it can't be that much. He's like, man, you need to do. He goes, when you get a Mercedes, yeah, he's like, when you get a Mercedes,
right?
When you get a BMW, you looking at that Saab, and he told me he didn't like Saabs, but he's like, you looking at all these foreign cars, yeah, they're nice, they go fast, they look beautiful, and they purr. He goes, there's the ride is amazing compared to what you would get back home. He says, but the maintenance is out of this world. It's going to cost you a lot of money to maintain these vehicles.
Right.
And I'm thinking about what you're saying when it's like, if you want your ride, your marriage ride to be sustainable, last a very long time, anybody can get married. Anybody can say, oh, I'm in a relationship. But it's the maintenance that is the most expensive part.
Right. So let me just read this to you right quick. The technical meaning of maintenance involves functional checks, servicing, repairing, or replacing of necessary devices, equipment, machinery, blah, 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 building infrastructure and supporting utilities and that kind of thing. So when you think about it, the maintenance, functional checks, servicing, repairing or replacing of necessary devices. That's what it takes to make sure that the car, that's just the maintenance part of it. That doesn't include like not big money jobs, but like big parts. What is that when the car won't start? They
like the
blow
alternator,
gaskets and those kind of things.
Oh, yeah. Okay, right.
So this is just the maintenance part of it.
You're not talking about unscheduled maintenance. You're talking about the stuff that's just
there you go.
Just scheduled stuff you know you have to do.
Routine maintenance.
There you go.
And why is it so important? Why is it so important? Number one, because we have to make sure the car runs. If you don't maintain oil checks, you don't maintain the tire balances, you don't maintain just keeping gas in your car, the fluids in the. Okay, so if the tires are not balanced, one is gonna be lopsided. You have to alignments. And I'm trying to do my car analogy. What I know about cars.
Bring it back to relationships, though. Bring it back to relationships.
Okay, let me put this out there though. So all this. Okay, so it's gonna be lopsided. You have all these different things on a car that are gonna be lopsided if you don't maintain it, doing the routine maintenance, right?
Okay.
So same thing goes in relationships. Are you checking in? Are you doing the check-ins? Are you doing the daily? Lovey and I, we pray every morning. And for some people, maybe that's not your thing. But what is it that you do to stay connected? Are you doing that? Are you taking time for each other? Even if you only got 5 minutes, babe, I got 5 minutes. What's up? Undivided attention. Can I get some FaceTime? Can we, we sit and can
Date nights?
Date nights, exactly. And right now, your date night might just be you and your honey sitting up watching TV somewhere.
Or going to Puerto Vallarta.
Or basement.
Right, or the basement, wherever you live.
I just had to tell you, so it's funny to me because I was like, ooh, Lovey and I are going to do that. E.T. was saying how Dee Dee told him she wanted to go somewhere for 3 days or whatever. Pack the bags and all this, and they packed bags. He's like, okay, where are we going? She's like, we getting on the road. He said they drove far out and they got snacks and everything, and then they turned right back around and went downstairs to the basement, and they stayed in the basement. It's like a staycation. I was like, man, I wish we had a basement because we would do that. But I mean, you have to get, especially in this time right now, you have to get inventive with what you're going to do for each other. Some people, you've been in the space together for so long. This is probably the most a lot of couples have been together since they first started dating. When you first start dating, you're just like, oh, I can't get enough of him. And then you get married and you're like, Jesus, can he go somewhere, please? But this is the time to reinvent, and it's like almost like figuring out why I said I do, why you said, will you marry me, so it's time to do the maintenance, and while you have time, while we're in shelter in place and being safe, work on the stuff where you won't need the car. You know what I'm saying? So they had to keep your car, and they give you a rental so that you can get around. Well, you don't need to go nowhere. I don't need to go anywhere. We have all the time in the world to work on to get to make the maintenance or the fix the gasket on the car or whatever. The analogy in the relationship. What is the big thing that is keeping you two apart? What is the medium-sized thing that's making you feel like you're pulled apart? Let's sit down and just really talk about, okay, so what is it really that you did or that you've done or that you've been doing or that I've been doing? What is keeping us from having that next level marriage? That's where we're just like, we're not so much we're just two fishes in the sea, but we're just kind of, we're not quite roommates, but we're not quite lovers either. We're like right in the middle of that, everything is, it's okay. So let's take it from just being okay, because okay is going to fall down to bad, or it could get worse. So.
I'm sorry, I keep hitting my microphone, moving around, and I apologize for that loud noise, but I think you're dead on. I mean, that's pretty amazing stuff.
Thank you.
So, I mean, don't wait for the dummy light to come on, because I think, like my car, if you wait for the dummy light or the dummy panel to come up, if there was a dummy panel in front of us for our relationship, what would that be? I mean, like, so you got, like, in your car, you got your oil light, you got your check engine light. There's some electrical stuff, like an alternator, like if you're having electrical issues. So imagine there's a dummy panel in front of you, right? So what would we see? What would become the lights that could come on in a relationship?
Some of us have cars or relationships, they're just dead. They won't even move.
Dummy panel. Okay, let's make sure we don't get to the point where the dummy panel don't even work. But I mean, I'm asking you right now, like, so what are some of the lights that you could think of that would pop open, like for like an oil light, for like a main, or there's a tire light that comes on that tells you, okay, one tire is lower than the other. Okay, there's one right there, being unequally yoked.
I was about to say one tire is lower, or even if you are, you could be equally yoked in the relationship, but we're off balance. I'm feeling okay, but you're not feeling okay. So why are we? How come I'm not, or you're not, or whatever? I mean, you yourself. Okay, so just transparency. Yesterday was like not a good day for. I feel like neither one of us, pretty much. I'm doing my homework. I'm very frustrated. Lovey's kind of just feeling off a little bit, and we felt the energy of us both being kind of off. And then I'm like, oh, I need some help with my homework because I get so frustrated. I just put my glasses down. I'm just like, I don't care if it's a C paper, it's a C paper. And so he was like, okay, so he's doing stuff, but I'm like, I need your opinion. I need your input. Help me out here. And so he's feeling some kind of way. I felt like I was bothering him. And I told him, I said, I thanked him for his input. And then I was like, I'm sorry. He's like, why do you keep saying sorry? I said, because I feel like I'm bothering you. You're not bothering me. I'm like, I'm clearly bothering you, but, it's because he was feeling some kind of way. So I started feeling a little bit better, but he was still feeling kind of off. And so I'm like, what is it? Eventually, we both kind of got on the same level where we balanced. But I knew something was off. He knew something was off. And when you're in tune with each other, when you're off.
You're just out of sync, and so that's one of the lights that when you're, out of sync, we could say it's like tire imbalance, but yeah, so the out of sync light would have definitely come on yesterday. Then there's going to be
the balance, yeah.
Yep. So there's another light, disconnected. I mean, there's one where just completely, just not out of sync. You're connected, but just one's off a little bit, right? One or the other. There could be a dummy light for completely disconnected. Where you're just not. It's not even an argument.
You're not engaging.
Yeah, exactly. Completely not engaged. That could be another one. there could be a date light dummy light that comes on.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
It's like, yeah,
that's
y'all
the
need some
oil
U
change.
time, right? That is.
That's the oil change. Yeah.
And there could be one for sex as well. If you're not connecting on that intimacy level. What?
I was gonna say that's your start engine. Every day.
That's your engine check light.
Not engine check. Just start the car.
Oh. And so then there's a variety of things. Each and every one of us have those things where, we there could be some common things on our dummy panel for marriage, but then we're each going to have some certain things as well. For us, like for instance, we pray every morning, and there've been a couple of times where we're like, hey, we didn't pray, and we just felt off all day. It's like walking out the house without your wedding ring, or like without your watch, where you just know you're off because that one thing isn't there. Mm-hmm. And for us, that's prayer in the morning, and so we would have an additional light. It may not be that light for you, but we would have like a prayer light that would come on to let us know, like, hey, you need to make sure you handle that.
Right. You can, and even you can have some alone time lights or whatever. Sometimes you do just need a little bit of space. So that could be your own light too. I just need, and it's okay. It's not like, oh, there's something wrong if you want to have space or be by yourself for a minute. That's perfectly fine. You're not supposed to just be glued in each other's face every single second.
Absolutely. So pay attention to your dummy light on the panel, but let's make sure that everybody gets to that point. How about make sure that we're not neglectful of the maintenance that's required in our relationships?
Exactly. Because good maintenance habits can prevent breakdowns, eliminating safety concerns, inconvenience, costly repairs, and keeping a car in good shape prevents wrecks due to significant engine malfunction.
And let's not, okay, that was like a public service
analogy. Well, no, because I'm just saying. So basically, if you don't keep up the maintenance in your relationship, there are going to be problems. I can't think of the word I was looking for. It was right there. And in the collisions that come, sometimes when a collision, you happen to be in a collision, the car is going to be totaled. So you don't want that to happen in your relationship, to where you're not doing the maintenance, or you're getting something and you can't even start it anymore. The car's totaled. You can't do anything. So you want to avoid that type of stuff.
Well, there's good news and bad news when it comes with that as well. So if your car breaks down on the side of the road, you end up getting one of those little maintenance cards, right? Like AAA, something like that, where you can call AAA and they can come and they can tow you, they can help you out. Well, we don't have a AAA card for you, but we do have an MIC card.
Oh, I like that.
So the MIC card is, you can always go to our website right there on marriedintocrazy.com/coaching, and you can reach out to us. There's a 15-minute discovery call. That could be your call for maintenance. That could be the call like, hey, I'm on the side of the road. Right. We need something. We're imbalanced.
Right.
Some lights came on our dummy panel, and we'd love for Snooks and Levy to help us out, talk to us a little bit. That's there. There's a 15-minute discovery call. It's just us having a conversation. And then, of course, there's the disc assessment. There's a variety of things that are there. But it's not just about the things that we offer you. But I will remind you that the disc assessment is free on our website right now. Mm-hmm. That while you're at home, this is an opportunity for you to do a maintenance check. Mm-hmm. Learn yourself, so then you can't know your dummy panel unless you know what you're capable of doing. And you can't know what you're capable of doing if you don't know yourself. And the disc assessment will help you to know yourself that much better.
Mm-hmm. Your dummy panel could be coming on and you don't even realize. You're like, well, what is that for?
I just thought it was a pretty light.
What does it go to?
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Light comes on, but I have no idea.
I don't know what that little thingy is.
Right, so, exactly. Yeah. So there's all these things that you can actually be doing right now, and we're here for you. So consider us your AAA when it comes to, when it comes to your relationship, making sure that you stay on the road.
Or Allstate. You're in good hands.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Oh, that's good.
And you can sit there, but we want to help you stay on the road to marriage, right? So that way you're not veering off. And you know how it is when you're driving on the road on the freeway, and then you start to veer off a little bit for whatever reason, and you've got those little cuts on the side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
And then you hear that, and it vibrates the car because it's not, you know what? When you feel that, when you start to veer off a little bit, or you start to see those dummy panel lights, contact Snooks and Levy, contact us, reach out to us, some way, shape, or form, either via email, snooksandlevy@gmail.com. You can actually reach out to us via our website. You can hit us up on IG or on Facebook. It's @Married Into Crazy on all of the social media. Mm-hmm. So I think this was a good talk. I think it's one of those things where, We don't have an absolute answer for you on this episode as far as this is what you need to do, but it's more of an overarching direction that pay attention to the maintenance that's required, because your marriage is the BMW, your marriage is the Mercedes, your marriage is the Tesla, your marriage is, the Lexus. It's all those cars. It's all those luxury vehicles. Your marriage is a luxury vehicle, and you want it to run smoothly. You want it to do all those things that it's supposed to do, but it can't if you neglect the maintenance.
That's right.
So let's do that. Part of the maintenance is doing the little things. It's doing the little things. So that's like the tooth for the road. So just for the record, I did the laundry. I folded something and I put it away.
What was mine?
I don't remember. I know what mine was. I don't keep track of
Oh,
mine.
lovey.
So
You're making me look bad on the podcast. It's one for the roll, one for the shelter and stay.
okay.
Or
What
stay
is,
in a place.
okay. What does yours say?
Dun, dun, dun. I can love my partner unconditionally.
And mine says, I can express my appreciation to my partner.
Oh, I love you unconditionally. Oh, I didn't know we were doing that.
So that's the I can. Anyway, this was fun. Well, we'd like to talk a little bit longer, but the sex light just came on my dummy panel. And so I need to go handle some maintenance.
That's too bad. My homework panel came on.
Hey, we thoroughly enjoy spending time with you guys. We have some interviews that are going to be coming up in the next several ones. And a major audit. Tax season is upon us. Well, not really, because they've extended it. But a major audit is coming up. A marriage audit. So until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.
That was fun.
Peace.